Every one of us face tests and trials, and in some point in our lives. When they occur, we often have the question as to why. Why now? Why is this happening now? Why at this moment in my life? And then the big question, why me? Why me? Why me, God? Though tried in the fire, it is the refiner who refines us to build our character. The refiner, which is God, uses the fire to purify us so that we can become more Christ-like. So the next time you feel that you're being tested, remember what the Bible says in 1 Chronicles 29:17 about God testing the heart and is pleased with integrity. Trials in our lives are the process of proving the quality or worth of something or someone. Trials are tests of our faith, patience, or endurance through the process of suffering. With trials, you go through a process of proving faith, a test and trial that proves whether or not your faith is genuine. With fiery trials, it refines your character as gold is refined, meaning your suffering. 1 Peter 4:12-13 says, Beloved, do not think it strange concerning the fiery trials, which is to try you as though some strange thing happened to you. But rejoice in the extent that you partake of Christ's suffering, that when his glory is revealed, you may also be glad with exceeding joy. With tests and trials, with your commitment. Tests and trials determine the quality of your commitment. In the Bible, there are many references that presents the refining of gold and silver as parallels of God's refining of us through our own painful trials.
Yes.
This unforgettable process is meant to help us understand the purpose behind our pain, specifically to conform us to the character of Christ. Clearly, we don't develop Christ-like character all at once. Character is forged over time, especially through fiery trials. Nevertheless, God is indeed our refiner. Because the Bible is filled with images of God working as the refiner in our lives, we gain much insight by understanding the refining process. So with the refining process, I have a couple of stages that I would like to share with you.
Come on.
In stage 1, there's the breaking. The refiner breaks up the natural ore, which is our character, ourself. We are like rough rocks in the need of hammering, breaking and refining.
Yes.
Jeremiah 23:29 says, It is not my word like fire and like a hammer that breaks the rock in pieces. Number 2, there's the crucible. The refiner places unrefined silver or gold in a crucible. A crucible is a fireproof melting pot. The crucible is then placed in the furnace at a precise temperature that is necessary for separating unwanted metals that will otherwise spoil the quality of the gold and silver. Just as the furnace is used to purify the silver or the gold in the crucible, our refiner uses the heat of a severe testing, a life-impacting trial to purify our hearts and cleanse our character.
Yes.
Proverbs 17:3, it says, The refining pot is for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart.
Yes, he does.
Number 2, as the ore melts in the crucible under the watchful eye of the refiner, layers of impurities called dross appears. It is the scum that forms on the surface of the liquefied melted metal. For us individually, dross represent anything impure or worthless. For example, wrong motives, wrong attitudes, wrong action. It is any sin that keeps us from being all God created us to be. Number 4, the heat. The refiner raises the temperature to higher degrees. The heat extracts the impurities that are imminent during our refining process. Our refiner knows the exact temperature needed to extract the dross. And he knows that only certain impurities are released at certain temperatures. Psalms 12 says, the words of the Lord are pure words, like silver tried in a furnace on earth, purified 7 times. The purification. Number 5, purification. The refiner continues to remove the impurities. Each time with skill and patience, the refiner removes layer after layer of impurities, and increasingly the silver and the gold become more pure and precious than before. The refiner looks at his own reflection on the surface of the crucible contents. The more impurities removed, the less distorted his reflection is.
That's good. That's good.
The refiner never leaves the crucible. He sits by it. Our refiner sits over the refining process. Our refiner sits over the refining process to purify us. Malachi 3:3, he will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver. Number 6, the reflection.
That's good.
The refiner sees a clear reflection of himself. Initially, the refiner looked into the pot and saw a dim reflection of himself. What you think? Okay. God don't see everything you do. Only after repeated skimming off the top layer of dross floating on the surface, and only when the refiner looks into the metal-filled crucible and sees a clear reflection of himself, is the process is then completed. Finally, the metal attains its highest degree of purity. This describes our refiner's loving intentions for allowing us to be in the refiner's furnace of affliction. As we trust in him to use our trials to cleanse our character and purify our hearts, we will begin to see the silver lining. Isaiah 48:10 says, behold, I refined you, but not as silver. I have tested you in a furnace of afflictions. When it comes to trials, without a doubt, some are hotter than others. Likewise, our master refiner is committed to completion. Philippians 1:6. Being confident of this, that he who begins a good work in you will carry it out to completion until the day of Jesus Christ. Trials are experienced by everyone. 2 Timothy 3:12. Everyone who wants to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. Trials have a divine purpose. Romans 5:3-5. Not only so, but we all also glorify in our sufferings, because we know that the sufferings produces perseverance. Perseverance, character. Character, hope. Character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame. Trials only last for a while. That's the part you like to see when the trials are over. Second Corinthians 4:17. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. Trials are controlled by God. 1 Corinthians 10:13. God will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. Trials come with God's grace for endurance. 2 Corinthians 12:9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. So, knowing that when God finishes refining his people, there will not even be a speck of imperfection. Let's look at Jesus for a second. Facing the agony of the cross, Jesus was in great physical, mental, emotional, spiritual distress to the point of beseeching the Father 3 times whether there may be another way to redeem us, but there was none. Jesus faced the most painful trip to the crucible of God's refining fire, not out of weakness and defeat, but out of the strength and faith in the Father who loved him. Jesus was able to trust in the Father's trials because he trusted the Father's heart of love and compassion, wisdom and understanding. You too can face trials, just as Jesus did. So in closing, I would just like to share just a little bit of myself. About a year ago.
Come on.
A year ago.
Yes.
I went through one of the worst trials of my life.
Yes.
I had an accident to where I literally lost my leg, almost lost my leg. The doctors, I ended up slipping up and tearing everything in my knee, severely damaged my nerves in my leg, and then tore the artery. But God.
Yes.
During that time, you know, I had saints praying. I had saints praying all around because at that moment I couldn't pray for myself. I was in ICU for 2 weeks. I didn't know I was in there for 2 weeks. But then when I came out, you know, to myself, and you know, I had a lot of people praying, but at that moment, because I was in so much pain, I couldn't pray for myself. But then I was, you know, I started getting, you know, having self-pity on myself, you know, asking God those questions. When people weren't around, when everybody was gone, I was like, God, did I do anything wrong?
Come on now.
I called myself doing what you called me to do.
That's good. That's good.
I'm doing all I'm supposed to do. Where am I going wrong at?
That's good. That's good.
And I cried out to him, God, I need you. God, I need you. I can't do this by myself. Whatever it is that I'm doing wrong, God, show me what I need to do to make it right, God, so that I, oh God, can be a living witness to others. Those trials that I went through, I took it as a learning lesson. I took it as a learning lesson so that I can take it out to others. Because if I went through the trials with almost losing my leg, had to learn how to walk again, and just really depend on God in everything that I do, I know that my brothers and sisters can too. I know that my sisters and brothers can too. And so it's not for me to keep everything in because I'm going through trials and stuff. Like our pastor taught today, Christians living on the edge. Christians living on the edge. Now, had I just bottled all that up in me and not talked about, you know, the things that I went through, because I have a circle of friends that I would share my heart with what's going on with me. I went through some trials, but God, it was God. It was God that brought us out. So if you find yourself going through those trials and tribulations and you're wondering, you know, what can you do? Just look to God. Because God, he is wanting to hear from you. He just don't want to hear from others, but God wants to hear from you. And I close it right now. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just